Get free tech advice for your business from O2 Gurus. Search O2 Business for more. Hey guys, welcome to BTech. It's Basil here with my Motorola Moto G 3rd generation review. I've had this for a month now, so I know it inside out. But before I talk about the phone, if you're watching this before the 27th of August 2015, specifically midnight, follow us on Instagram. Then you will be automatically entered into our competition to win an IKEA wireless charging lamp. Right, now back to the Moto G 3rd generation. With the 1st generation, Motorola broke the mold. They brought a 720p screen and really competent specs to a great price point. Then the 2nd generation landed, upping the screen size and adding a front-firing speaker. Thumbs up there. 3rd generation though, and the whole budget phone market's gotten a lot more aggressive. But what's Motorola doing? Well, they've upped the specs once again, and they've added water resistance, as well as introducing Moto Maker to the UK on the budget line with 3 UK exclusivity. So what do we think of Motorola's latest budget phone offering? Now you'll notice that I use quotation marks, which I don't tend to do, but it's not really a budget phone. The high-end one is £209 and the low-end one's £160, and you get really good phones for around £100. Now they would be budget phones in my eyes. Now let's talk about pricing quickly. You could pick up the cheaper option, that's £160, 1 gig of RAM and 8 gig internal memory. £160, still not a super budget phone. As for the more expensive option, the one that we've got, you could pick up the 16 gig version with 2 gigabytes of RAM. As a result, I reckon Motorola goofed up a bit here. They should have made these two phones, maybe the Motorola Moto F for the lower end one and G for the higher end one. F for forget about it if you like gaming, and G for get this one. Why am I being so mean? Well, 8 gig is gonna fill up in no time flat. I've already filled up more than 8 gig on mine and I've had it for around a month. As for the 1 gig of RAM, well, it's just less than a lot of £160 phones tend to ship with today. So that's price. Now on to design. Talking about this aspect isn't just talking about the way my Moto G looks. As I mentioned, Moto Maker has come to the UK for the budget phones, and it gives you the option to customize your Moto G to the nines. There's also newly added IPX7 water resistance, which is great. The iteration I have has a striated white back. It feels plastic, it is plastic, though it has a decent amount of grip. There's a distinctive Motorola insignia around the back, and the overall shape is traditional enough, which is a good thing if you like Motorola phones. The metal frame keeps everything feeling pretty premium, but this definitely isn't a flagship grade built phone. Ports and buttons are really typical, though the exposed headphone jack and USB connector are great considering this phone's water resistant. Peel off the back cover and you reveal a micro SD card slot and a micro SIM slot too. Standalone, this isn't mind-blowing, but when held side by side with a Moto G 2nd generation, it's more elegant, more tapered, and just feels like a much better phone in hand, which means Motorola has definitely done something right here. I'd definitely say, even for £209, design-wise the Moto G 3rd generation is a very good phone, and factoring in that IPX7 water resistance, it's a great one. As for the screen, 5 inches 720p resolution and IPS screen technology. That means a pixel density or sharpness of around 294 pixels per inch. In my opinion, at that price point, that's a fair resolution. So I won't complain about the 720p screen, but what I am going to complain about is the fact that the display is a bit dim and washed out. I live in England, but if I lived somewhere sunnier, viewing it outdoors would be a bit of a headache. It isn't terrible, but you can do better for the price. The ZTE Blade S is cheaper and better. The Vodafone Smart Ultra 6 is cheaper and better. The Huawei G7 is cheaper and better. The cheaper Nokia Lumia 640 is very comparable in terms of screen quality and comes in at £100 if you shop around. So while the display was perfect for the Moto G 2nd generation, for the 3rd generation it's let down a bit, mainly because the budget market has really heated up. Still, it is a very good size for gaming on, watching movies on, and typing on as well. My favourite thing about the screen's what's inside though. Android 5.1.1, and it's stock Android, which is so welcome. The fact the Motorola apps on board actually make the experience better is only a good thing. You have gestures from off, so you can launch the flashlight with a karate chop or the camera with a wrist flick. There's also Moto Assist, hushing your phone at night amongst other things. Display is lovely. Hover over the sensor or move the phone and the clock will fade in and out. It even gives you notification previews. There's actually nothing about the UI that I really don't like, and for that reason alone, Motorola deserves a massive pat on the back. You have a range of home screens that you can populate with apps and widgets. You've got Google Now, you've got pull down notifications tray and quick toggles menu, as well as an applications tray too. You've also got Motorola's additional apps, and well, I can stop talking about the UI now because it's all pretty self-explanatory, moving straight on to multimedia. The screen's good for movies, so too is a front-facing mono speaker. Music from the headphone jack's also standard, neither poor nor standout, and Bluetooth audio supports aptX codec, which rocks. The Snapdragon 410 under the hood is also a step up over the last Moto G, as is the 2GB of RAM in my version. Accordingly, this is a better gaming phone. I threw a load of games on here and it was a dream. Great size, great sound, great performance, a great entry-level gaming phone. The memory is also expandable by 32 additional gigabytes, so you'll have plenty of room for your music and a few movies too. I can't stress enough though, if you are even thinking about gaming, then you have to get the 16GB version, not the 8GB version. Since getting mine, I'm over 8GB in, and that's after around a month. You'll also want to be taking a fair few photos with this thing. The 13-megapixel camera is lifted straight from the Nexus 6. There's also a 5-megapixel front camera. Results are a marked improvement, and in the grand scheme of Motorola phones, promising. Compared to other £200 phones though, things are pretty average. In good light, it can grab some great detail. Even though there's no OIS, it still nails it. In slightly middling light, saturation and contrast drops very quickly, making shots look a touch drab. In low light, noise creeps in and blur kills clarity, making shots look categorically bad. There is a flash, and it definitely saves the day in many ways, though it does still produce under-contrasted and under-saturated results. The Full HD video recording is impressive, seemingly more saturated than photos. Annoyingly, there's no tap to focus though, so macro shots are challenging and focus is painful mid-capture if you're trying to get up close. It does still cope well with moving objects and general focus if your objects are relatively far away. There's a 4x digital zoom. Exposure shifting is snappy and white balance is on point too, though as with photos, if you drop the lights, the video performance crumbles quickly. The 5-megapixel front camera is fixed focus, though it does adopt touch to expose, which is fine. Unfortunately though, the quality is really bitty for selfies, given the high pixel count, though video from it is decent. As far as connections go, you can get up to Cat 4 LTE on here, and you can expect really zippy broadband speeds in your pocket for a £200-odd phone. It's also got GPS, Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi, etc. One point to note though is the Moto G 3rd generation does not have a gyroscope, so you won't be able to use it for things like VR. On the plus side, there's a sufficient 2470 mAh battery under the hood that lasts a comfortable day, maybe even 2. That rounds my review off nicely and leaves me very happy to recommend the Motorola Moto G to anyone looking for a really well-designed £210 phone that's strong for gaming and has water resistance on board too. Like I said though, I definitely wouldn't recommend picking up the 8GB version. It doesn't offer great value for money or future-proofing, given the fact that Android is a real memory hog. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, make sure you click that thumbs up button, and of course if you like BTech in general, subscribe to the channel. That's how you are going to stay on top of everything that we do. And of course, if you're watching this before the 28th of August 2015, follow us on Instagram for your chance to win an IKEA wireless charging lamp. Thanks for watching. The Sony Xperia Z4. I wasn't even that annoyed when I heard it wouldn't be called the Z4 here in the UK. It's a Z3 Plus. The Plus seemed a little bit more appropriate. After all, it's a very similar device to its predecessor. It looks very similar, it has a waterproof body, lots of cores, 3GB of RAM, a 5.2-inch Full HD display. Sony Xperia Z3 Plus, pretty appropriate name. So what is new? It's a thinner phone with less flaps, more memory, and a new processor. That sounds great, right? Well, it should be great. And it's great for the most part. But there are some major shortcomings. We're going to start off with the design, and fortunately this is one area that Sony builds upon its successes. I love the Z3. Classical, sleek, pretty timeless. The Z3 Plus is better. Well, it's thinner.